if you did see Donald Trump do the full interview with Kristen Welker, well, then you are a way better person than I am, because there's no way I could sit through a full interview with Donald Trump. I didn't watch the full interview that he did with Terry Moran the week before. I did not watch the one with Kristen Welker, but I did see the clips. And of course, the same ridiculous nonsense that this guy comes up with constantly continues to go through. And Lana, I think you and I have talked about this before. In these interviews, what do you do as far as real-time fact-checking? Because we know that it's almost a game that you can't play anymore with this guy, because you could sit there and you may get stuck on a topic for 10 minutes when you got a million things to ask him, because he's going to argue to the death about what he's lying about. So is the strategy to give him the rope and just say, let this guy lie like crazy and then we will direct it later? Or how long do you go with trying to correct him?
Right. Just give him the rope. And I really think that that's what Kristen Welker does. I know people hate her for some reason. I mean, I think we Democrats just really got to be more sensible about things, because
didn't she do one of the she did one of the debates, I think, and I think people didn't like her performance or something.
I mean, they don't like that she's talking to Trump. They feel like she's normalizing him. But let me say this. If it wasn't for Kristen Welker, how are we getting the things that he's saying? Like, because he will sit down with her. He will sit down with her. And if you really pay attention, she asked him questions to try to bait him into that moment. Like, I watched it, and she does do that. Like, she'll keep at the Constitution, right? Like, she's baiting him into those things so that we actually have fuel for Monday to talk about, because Trump said, like, he's not, he doesn't know the Constitution. Actually, he swore to, so I feel like if she does anything more, he's just going to say, I'm not sitting down to talk to you anymore. And then
he'll get up and leave right in the middle of it.
Exactly. And then there's nobody. And what good does that do? I know we're sick of hearing him, but what good does that do when we don't have anyone who's actually, because she's actually asking him questions, right? Like,
yeah. And the only ones controlling the press outside of that would just be them and the sycophants and the flying monkeys.
Right.
So,
right. And we don't want that. Yeah. Yes. We can't have it all of the ways.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, Lana, here's the first clip. I know you saw it. Some of you many of you may have seen this, but this is him talking about when she asked him about the prices of things. People are concerned about the prices of things. And of course, Donald Trump flat out lies about the prices of things. These are the kind of things I wish there was a little bit more pushback, but here's his absurdly ridiculous answer that is very easy to investigate and look up yourself if you want to. I know many people don't like to do it themselves because they like the answer and just want to accept it. But here's his answer on the prices of things, in particular gas.
These are already going up on some popular items. Tires, strollers.
This is such a dishonest interview already. Prices are down on groceries. Prices are down for oil. Prices are down for all energy. Prices are down at tremendous numbers for gasoline. And let me tell you, when you have the big thing, what he did, he spent like a stupid person, which he was, but he spent like a very stupid person. And that was bad for inflation. But what really killed us with inflation was the price of energy. It went up to $3.90, even $4, and in California, $5 and $6, right? Okay. I have it down to $1.98 in many states right now. When you go that much lower on energy, which is ahead of my prediction, because I really thought I could get it down into the 250s. We have it down at $1.98 in numerous places. But when you say costs are going up,
$1.90 in many states, Lana. Is it $1.90 up in Massachusetts?
No,
it's not in Florida. I know that.
Cheapest I've seen was like I don't know. I saw $2.97. I may have seen $2.57, but I swear that gas has water in it. Like, I don't know. Like, that's the place we really don't want to go. But I mean, it's not $1 anywhere for certain.
Well, I mean, a couple things there. Number one, generally when he says something like that, the flying monkeys need to back this up. You think that you would have seen all over social media pictures of
Right.
gas pumps and gas stations where it was showing $1.98, $1.97. Of course, we didn't see anybody do that. But I also think I heard him the other day say that the reason why these gas prices are down is because of drill, baby, drill. First of all, we have not drilled any more. We've drilled more than any president in the history of our president under in the history of our country under Joe Biden. And again, the idea that the president has something to do with gas prices dropping, even if they were $1.98, it's
Right.
not because of Donald Trump.
But he told us, Brian, he said, which is not true, but anything good happening anywhere, he's just going to take the credit.
And
Anything bad happening anywhere at any time, it doesn't matter if it's 3 years into his presidency, 2 years, he's going to blame it on Biden. So, like, he's already told us, like, he's just going to take the credit regardless.
you know how we've called you before the queen of segues? Well,
Yes.
we are segueing into the next clip because that's basically what he just did in
Yeah.
one of literally the most amateurish way to answer a question about the economy I've ever heard a president answer it. And if I were to list the top 100 most amateurish answers in the history of our country through a president, Donald Trump would have all 100, but I don't know where I put this one in the top 100, but it's pretty high.
Badly. We'll see how that all turns out, but it's got to be a fair deal.
When does it become the Trump economy?
It partially is right now, and I really mean this. I think the good parts are the Trump economy, and the bad parts are the Biden economy, because he's done a terrible job. He did a terrible job on everything. From his auto pen, which I'm sure he knew nothing about some of the things he was supposedly signing.
But, sir, you acknowledge when you announced your tariffs, for example, the stock market dropped. It's been volatile. It has since gone up.
It is,
Do
but
you
now
take
it's going up.
responsibility
Look at
for that?
today.
Yeah. Do you
Well,
take responsibility when it drops?
Ultimately, I take responsibility for everything, but I've only just been here for a little more than 3 months.
Basically what you just said. I did everything good. He did everything bad. I know there's a certain amount of people in this country who are going to believe every word I say. That's why I continue to say this nonsense. And I am literally making fools of grown adults in this country.
Literally. Like, how are we even listening to him and like thinking that this is normal? Like, it's dumb talk. Like, it's literally dumb. I don't even know how she does this interview and not bust out laughing. I mean, I know she's trying to act like a shrink as well, because she has to figure out how to ask these questions as not to be offensive to him, so he doesn't walk away. Like, it's wild. And he says the same thing every time.
I know you are, but what am I? That's what he
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then he goes and Biden's the worst, and he's stupid, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
Do you think I think people like Kristen Welker, Terry Moran, I think they all have to, usually when you are interviewing the president, you have to be prepared and you want to make sure that you're asking pointed questions that the American people want answers to. And they prepare just for the interview and the questions. But I have to imagine that these interviewers prepare for an interview with Donald Trump, almost like they're preparing for a debate with Donald Trump, with people sitting across from him, pretending to answer the questions so they could try to practice on his ridiculous answers.
Yeah. Or like dealing with a toddler. Like, you know
Yeah.
what? He starts raising his voice, that means that maybe you should go to the next question because he's hype. Like, seriously, I'm sure, because when she asked him about the economy of the groceries, he started getting hype. Like, he started off saying that was like a stupid question or something. Like, he started like that. So she had to turn around and try to calm him down when he's like,
Right.
oh, price of gas is low. And she's like, yeah. Like,
yeah, she's even affirmative in the right, which I'm not a big fan of, but you know what? You're right. Let's not nitpick every little thing because it's impossible to interview the guy. You just can't.
It's not easy. And I mean, I would call her somewhat of a hero, to be honest, because she really is taking it for the team. And let's really be real. We know Kristen Welker is not a fucking Republican. Like, we know that. And we know her history and where she's come from. She's just trying to do an impossible job right now.
Right. Yeah. I say anybody that's not a flying monkey, it is an impossible job to interview this dude. So, but he had one more, there's one more clip that I have here, Lana, and I found this very disturbing that the president of the United States, especially after it's been in the news for quite some time now, based on his policies, Kristen Welker asked him about due process. And of course, in any normal time, this answer would be stunning and it would be grounds for impeachment because we basically put somebody in charge who has no idea on what they're talking about. And he says it out loud.
Secretary of State says everyone who's here, citizens and non-citizens, deserve due process. Do you agree, Mr. President?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know.
Well, the Fifth Amendment says.
I don't know. It seems it might say that, but if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers and some of the worst people.
By the way, that 1 million, 2 million trials thing is something that the right-wing propaganda media has already come up with, and Donald Trump's just regurgitating it. He has no original thoughts of his own. This is not him saying that.
On earth, but some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth. And I was elected to get him the hell out of here, and the courts are holding me from doing it.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
Is anyone in your administration right now in contact with El Salvador about returning Abrego Garcia to the United States?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the Attorney General.
I don't know anything.
That guy, man, how many times did he say, I don't know, Lana?
I just don't know anything. I don't know. Where am I? Who are you? Are you Kamala? I'm so confused.
Again, Lana, let's play one of our favorite games. Imagine if, fill in the blank, said that. Biden, Obama.
I don't know. I don't the Constitution. I don't know what that is. Like, what the fuck? What do you know?
Bro, these are your policies. The reason why Mr. Garcia and many others are no longer in this country is based on your policy. Why don't you know? I don't understand it.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's Katrina. I think Katrina from TikTok. Hey, Katrina, how are you? Great to see you. If indeed that is you. I hope, I don't know if you've seen the show before, but this is the phenomenal Lana Quest. I always say very nice things about you, Lana. So of course you know that. But yeah, the guy doesn't know. And I have great concerns that we have. Hey, Katrina, I have great concerns that we
millions of trials. Like, where are they getting that from? What is that information? There's no trial. There's no fucking trial. Well, what are we talking about? That a trial? Do they know what a trial is? What the fuck is it? A bench trial? Do they get a jury for every single immigrant? Like, what are we talking about? The hearings that last all of 5-10 minutes? Like, stop playing. There's an immigration bill. Have we forgotten? That sits around somewhere, that the bipartisan one that wants more judges and more people so they can do more of these hearings faster. Well, that's just sitting there. Well, why aren't we doing anything with that?
Because that is not their policy, even though it's not a real policy, is just to continue to scare dumb white people. That's what it is. And they need to keep up this ruse that it is an attack on this country. It's an invasion from immigrants who are here to cause problems. This is why he invoked the Aliens Enemy Act, because he said it was an invasion from basically bad people, and the bad people that they decided on was a gang from Venezuela. And it is just so insane that they could get away with this nonsense